Okay, guys, so welcome everyone. It's an official beginning of this webinar. Before we start, I just want to tell you, as usual, that this webinar, we do it within the framework of the weekly fasting group, which is a very big WhatsApp group of individuals from all over the world. And we cultivate together the habit of fasting once a week, every week, abstaining from food for at least 24 hours. And there are also people who extend it. Now, our weekly fast is between Friday and Saturday. It's a standard, our standard time for our weekly fasting. And the keyword here is persistency, because we do it week after week after week. And that's actually what makes the difference. So if you're watching this webinar afterwards on YouTube, and if those ideas appeal to you, you will find my phone number, my WhatsApp number, sorry, below this video. My name is Arik, and I am the moderator of this group. So you're welcome. If you want to join this group, you can send me a WhatsApp message with your name, and I will happily add you. And today we have a really interesting subject of psychological aspects of fasting. And we have two girls who are assistants of Dr. Filonov. We have Elena and we have Svetlana. So welcome.
Thank you for having us. We feel honored to be invited and participate.
Absolutely. Absolutely, guys. And we'll start with a short guided meditation, something like 5 minutes, led by by Svetlana, sorry. So let's start. So guys, you're welcome to mute yourself if you are unmuted. I will also mute mine. Svetlana, and over to you. And then after that, we will start the webinar.
Let's discover ourselves. So close your eyes. Welcome to the present moment. Before we begin, remind yourself that this time is for you and you alone. Allow no distractions, no worries, and no to-do lists to interfere with your time. Take a moment to make yourself comfortable where you are. Maybe straighten your back or trace gentle circles, nose relaxing your neck. Once you've reached the place of stillness, begin to keep your breath in through the nose and out mouth. Again, turn your awareness to the ground beneath you, firm, strong. As you continue to breathe, travel from the crown of the head down. Feel the crown grow right like a feather, and then carry the forehead, the mouth, the rib cage, loosen, flow upwards. Breathe, it becomes harder, self-anchored to the ground. As your freed upper body pulls you upwards, resist it as you travel on down through the arms and belly. When you reach your hips, visualize two tight locks begin to unscrew themselves, and on the count of 3, burst open. 1, 2, 3. Go through the rest of your body and gently release it. Thighs, knees, all the way down to the feet. Man, the big toe to the pinky. 1, 2, 3, 4. Feel that pinky loosen. 5. I am alive. I am free. I am capable. I am strong. Open your eyes and say the mantras out loud. I am alive. I am free. I am capable. I am strong. Close your eyes again and visualize the energy flowing through your body. With each mantra, another part of your body becomes flooded with this unstoppable, warm energy. I'm alive. Your feet begin to wake up. Feel the energy rise up from earth that supports you and flow freely through your legs. I'm free. Feel the energy rise through your navel and belly, all the way up through the lungs. Take a deep breath and feel your chest expand. I am capable. The energy now flows through the joints of your shoulders and down your arms, past the elbows and to the tip of each finger. Close your hands into 2 strong fists and then relax your fingers again. Allow them to gently fall open. I am strong. Feel the energy rise up through your throat, expanding as you continue to breathe through your face and head, all the way to the crown of your head. With this energy within you, allow nothing and no one to stand between you and your goals today. I am alive. I am free. I am capable. I am strong. Open your eyes and start creating your new reality.
Okay, Svetlana, thank you so much.
I lost the connection for a bit.
Yeah, we had some technical problems, especially in the beginning, so we'll see what we can do with that. But that's fine. Nevertheless, it was really, really good. Really, really good, really inspiring. Okay, so guys, now let's start the webinar. And there are a few very important subjects that I would love to discuss. But first of all, please, girls, could you tell us a little bit about your connection with psychology or with spiritual work, so that people know more or less what kind of questions that can ask you and what kind of subjects they can discuss with you. So Svetlana, could you please tell us a little bit about yourself?
So, as I am a holistic lifestyle coach, and I have all these approaches from different spheres, I use different tools based of what the person needs in that very moment. I have experienced different practices, and I learned different methods as well. So through this method, both psychological part, like mind, physical part, for me it's yoga, and fasting as well as spiritual practice. Yoga is a spiritual practice as well. But what I found out that without combination, it's impossible to reach the quickest result. You can achieve the results as well practicing maybe yoga only, you can, but it will take maybe longer time. But in any case, even in yoga, you have shatkarmas, you have these ekadashi days, you know, it's all about fasting. So uniting all these methods and psychological as well, during fasting, if you're applying some psychological methods, some psychological as well approaches, even hypnosis, you can achieve very good results as for your psychics, very good results.
Wow.
It's all connected. We are all one. It's never about one part, what you are healing. You may not notice the transformation like within your process, but at once you can understand that you are different, that transformation happened if you are using all these methods all together. So it's very, and I was studying psychology in Moscow University. So Elena had the American university studies, I'm Russian ones. So we are combining what is happening with my clients. We are doing the processes, like these processes are taking 2-3 hours, and we are digging deeply inside into the core of the problem, taking
Wow.
up what is happening. So sometimes you can even not understand, not know what is happening with you until you dig up in your subconscious. So my approach is not just speaking. I'm not interested in actually what is happening with the person. Our process, what we are doing, what I was taught in my university, it's to dig into the emotions and into the feelings. And sometimes I even don't need to know what is happening. We are just working with your feelings. And
Wow.
by bringing up, by highlighting what is happening with you, within you, people realize sometimes for them it's a discovery, because usually they just speak about facts, but facts are nothing. You have to dig deeper. You have to dig into your subconscious. And once you're there, and once you understood the root of your problem, it's like 50% already of the success. It's already 50% done once you understood the root of the problem. And then you
Wow.
start to work with it according to your emotions, because whatever we are living, by leaving the situation and even recreating the resources inside of you, the new potential, or discovering this new potential, you give to your mind the impulse, and the mind remembering this impulse, starting to behave differently. That's why I'm saying that, like, my approach that I was studying, I don't need to know facts. I need to transform the inner situation inside of the person in a state. And once the state is transformed, like from one state to another, what is happening? The person starts to behave differently with the external world. And when the person starts to approach differently to something that he get used to approach like before in one way, now he approaching in another way, he is receiving new results, and he receiving like new reflection. So life is starting to like sometimes to be, he's starting to feel more happy, receiving more joy from life, because he's expanding these feelings from inside. So he's receiving back the same. Like we all know that life is a reflection of our state. So what we have to work with, it's not the facts, why it happened, who said that, why he said, we don't need that. We just change the inner state of the person, and everything else is transformed as a consequences.
Wow, wow, so interesting. So I already have a few more questions about that to ask you, but I would love to hear from Elena about her short resume, you could call it, or just her background. Could you please tell us?
Of course. I have studied psychology. I have studied actually spiritual psychology in the University of Santa Monica, which is in Los Angeles, California. It's a very special course. It was a master program, so I have a master diploma degree in spiritual psychology. This unique program combined the traditional methods of psychological tools and psychological strategies, as well as spiritual approach to life, to psychology, to how we relate with each other, how we relate with the world. So the most important is to discover our true self and how can we live from that place and make a meaningful contribution to this world. In order to do that, you really have to go inside and really connect with yourself. It's related to what Svetlana is saying a lot. So these are the new methods of dealing with yourself, dealing with the world, how you connect to yourself, how you bring it out, how you deal with your problems, how you manage your relationships, your life, and everything else. So we were taking the statement into account that we are spiritual being having a human experience here. So from that perspective, we are actually absolutely pure. We have no guilt. We are absolutely pure souls which come here to just gain experience. So we were, from that perspective, we were discussing all the troubles, all what came up during life and during the childhood from that perspective. And that helps a lot to see the guilt, the problem of guilt, which everybody has. And that's the major problem, is that people feel guilty towards themselves. They feel guilty towards their relatives, even towards God. And so that feeling brings a lot of other problems and other issues in life. But knowing that you are a spiritual, pure being coming here to deal with all of this, with all this life, and having this experience as an experience makes it much easier to understand, and to know how to deal with everyday problems and how to approach them and how to relate to others from that perspective. So we were digging into that material a lot, and also studying a lot of therapeutic methods like Gestalt therapy, psychoanalysis, psychosynthesis, and other methods. So we were combining actually the spiritual part with the modern psychology and psychological science.
Wow, that is fascinating. Really, really fascinating. Now I have a question. If we have a person in a fasted state who has been fasting for some time, maybe for a few days, does it become easier from the psychological point of view to dig deeper into their emotions or into their unconscious in relation to the person who is not in a fasted state? So
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. Okay, Svetlana, so could you tell us about it from your experience, and then maybe we could also ask Elena the same question. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The person, while he's fasting, he becomes much more vulnerable. So what I get used to work with are emotions, not the facts, as I was telling, emotions. So once you are triggering the emotions, you are able to transform them. Look, you are working with them. There is a kind of type of work. You are working with them to transform and to recreate new state. So it's much easier when you are on fasting. Why? Because your mind is not tricking you. You are all emotional. You are all feelings. You are all what you are real. Because while you are fasting, you are real. While you are not fasting, you can put different masks. You can be busy. You can be in a hurry. But while you are fasting, you are so pure. You're so natural. So all your emotions, I see them. I just touch you like slightly, and you're already. I have now patients that I was just hugging. I was just kissing like in the checks, because everything it's like this. It's day 8 of the dry fasting, and someone was speaking very loudly, and the person was thinking that it's shouting on him. It's very vulnerable. So all the emotions are coming up, and it's very easy to work, knowing how to transform one feeling into another. Just right process, right words, right approach, and the person is releasing, you know. And when you are digging even deeper into a subconscious, this it's possible. Then you transform literally on the very deep level. This is much easier on the fasting. So if this was the question, much easier
Yes,
and much more effective.
absolutely. Thank you so much, Elena. So do you have anything to add to that?
Yes, it's actually very interesting, because this, what Svetlana is saying, is absolutely true. And it has also a physiological reason for that. It's your brain slows down, the neurons slow down their activity while in the fasting state, because all the energy goes to the body, to the processes, to the physiology. So you're actually stop thinking much. And because of that, all the emotions, all the raw states, all the subconsciousness, it comes up. So because you're not thinking, you're not trying to pretend to be someone, you just don't have the energy. And all of a sudden, what you have accumulated, what you kept inside, suppressed by the thoughts, suppressed by the mind, suddenly it all comes up, because your brain stops thinking. You're just in this raw, vulnerable state. And that's the exact right moment to dig into deeper levels, to talk to a person, to help him release a lot of negativity, a lot of things that he accumulated or she accumulated during the past, a lot of things from the childhood, a lot of impressions that were imprinted in your subconsciousness without you even knowing it. So fasting is the best. That's why it's a spiritual process. That's why all the saints, the Buddhists fast, and in all religions, it's a very prominent practice. It's because of that. It's because your brain slows down, and you become more open to work through the processes of emotional instability, of subconscious patterns. You can rewrite them more easily while you're fasting. It's a tremendous amount of work that can be accomplished when a person is fasting, which normally it could take a lot of years even, but in such short time. But when you're fasting, so in such a short time, you could release a lot. So that we see that also from our practice already. We see that happening.
Wow, amazing, amazing. And does it also count when we talk about the inner work a person is doing with themselves, such as affirmation, meditation, visualization? Does it also become more powerful while fasting?
Absolutely,
Absolutely.
because
Yes,
yeah,
Svetlana, please.
yeah. So there are actually 2 types of fasting that we propose as well. It's either fasting with the inner discovery. It's much more emotional. It's much more difficult to go through, because you find yourself finally with yourself in front of yourself, you and you. And some people are not get used to that. not get used to be with themselves. And for different people, it's hard time to be with themselves. So this is a very good moment to start meditating and to release your mind from the thoughts that will be coming. But this is a practice. Like when you are doing, for example, meditation for 10 days of silence. I don't know if someone have done that, but at the beginning, such thoughts are coming up that you can not even understand why they are coming up. They're just pumping up, like music that you heard, like movie that you've seen, like so, and it's so chaotic. So while you are on fasting and you with yourself, you start to have all these things coming up, and it's good to continue. It's like cleansing. And while you are meditating and you are breathing, what I was doing today with our patients, breathing, deep breathing, yogic breathing, and they were calming down. Their thoughts were having space. Like while you are breathing very deeply, you finally give to your mind the possibility to get rid of useless emotions, useless thoughts, and useless chaos in your mind. So this is very helpful. This is one of the type that one have to try, and where one have to arrive once. But to begin with, sometimes it can be very difficult, very challenging. What we suggest at the beginning, if someone doesn't know what to do, it's first of all to ask two questions. One, what goal you want to achieve with the fasting? First one. And the second, how you want to fast, what feelings you want to have during fasting. So what you can do while you are fasting, if you are not ready to stay with yourself, to to discover more and more and to go deeper and to silence your mind, if you are not ready yet, you have work to do, you have family. So what we suggest is to make a schedule of what you will be doing during the day. It can be work, it can be family, it can be watching movie, it can be some artwork. When your mind will be busy, and like this, it will be much easier to go through. So there are two types. Like one type is possibility to discover yourself, or another type, let go slowly. If you are not able yet, okay with that. We are all okay with that. Just train your body by distraction, your mind, and then you will arrive by liberating the energy, the mental pathology, because this pathologic energy will be gone within the time. And then within the time, you will be able to reach the moment when you will be able to meditate while fasting. So these are two types, two paths that one can choose at the beginning or even after. No worries, no hurry. We will all arrive at one point when we will have this silent mind. And this is beautiful state.
Yeah, wow, thank you so much. So basically, if a person is not on a retreat, but has a busy family life, then probably the second path of distracting himself just by being busy is more suitable for them.
Absolutely. When I started fasting, when I was preparing for my long fast, so I was preparing for 3 months, doing weekly fast, like 36 hours. And I was living in Milan, and it was from January up to April, we had exhibitions, fashion exhibitions and design exhibitions. And I was like sales manager. So I was speaking with people. I was on like standing 14 hours on these exhibitions, selling, speaking, even having them eating in front of me, drinking in front of me. But I was really so, I had this idea to go through because I wanted to try long fasting. So I had a goal. First of all, you have to ask the question why you want to do that. If you have a goal, you will do it. And if someone is saying, I'm too busy, I have too much to do, and I will not have energy, you will have energy. It's all about inner a decision to do that. While since you decide to do that, you can do it. And when you are distracted at the beginning, it's much easier. Either you are laying at home and watching the fridge to go, not to go, to you have all these, temptations. So while you are busy with the work, with your family, you create more and more things to do, even things that you like in those moments when we are fasting, please add to your schedule something that you like, just to distract your mind. And the more you do it, the more easy and the more you will have pleasure. You will want to do fasting because you will schedule something very pleasant for those days. This can be a solution how to push yourself to fast. Just create something pleasant for the days that you are fasting.
Wow, that's amazing.
To distract your mind.
That's amazing. Elena, do you have anything to add? We started our discussion from the question whether if a person is working on themselves, doing some inner work, is it also going deeper than in non-fasted state? And then we discovered that yes, it is. So do you have anything to add to what Svetlana said?
I totally agree with the point Svetlana is making, that distractions work so well. You just go for a walk and try to get some fresh air. Fasting days are the best chances for you just to enjoy nature, to enjoy movement, even to go shopping and try some new clothes, because that's a great distraction and you just spend time actually, and you don't think about food at that time at all. So these are great tips to in your everyday life, how to go through it. You could get a yoga session or a massage, and these kind of things work really well. But also just trying to apply some mindfulness techniques to stay in the present moment, to watch how you feel, to watch your breathing, to set a goal to have several breaks for breathing exercises, for example, or even to use this app I'm using. It's called Mindfulness Bell. You set the timing. It can be random timing throughout the day. When the bell rings, and it reminds you just to take a breath, to be mindful, to be in the moment. And when you are in the moment and when you pay attention to your five senses, to your processes that are going on in the body, then you automatically are out of thinking. You're out of thinking process. And that's where the trap is, actually, because you want to break the fasting only in your thoughts. Your body, if you set the right intention, if you psychologically told yourself, this is my intention, this is what I'm aiming at, so actually your body is set for a goal. You're fine, but your thoughts, they can distract you a lot with that chatter, that why am I doing this? Maybe I should just eat. Maybe it's too hard for me. You know that. But to get out of this chatter, the best way is mindfulness. The best way is to take a breath, to watch your senses, to pay attention to, for instance, your feelings in the feet, your feelings in the hands, and just go for mindful walks, fresh air, and this kind of tips and tricks, they really help through these days.
Wow, very interesting. Yeah, but actually my intention in asking this question, the original question, was because you remember we started with the point that if a person undergoes psychotherapy and they're in the fasted state, then there is a chance of going deeper, of digging deeper.
Much
right?
deeper.
Yeah, but so, and then I asked that if a person has personal practice such as affirmation or meditation, can the fasting state assist them? So so I understand that, yeah, so that the answer is yes.
What is happening during fasting? It's very nice dynamic, so to say, that so the big fear that person is having in life, it's fear of death.
Mm-hmm.
And the lack of food usually brings a person to death, right? So
Mm-hmm.
to say.
Yeah.
So we have this very strong program, and the biggest fear in life it's fear of death.
Mhm.
So all other fears are like clank to this fear. And when you are going through fasting, even one day, like if you are doing regularly, it works as well. When you are doing that, and your program that you have to die if you are fasting, kind of, it's very subconscious.
Mhm.
So in a while, when body it's gaining benefits, it's happening like dissonance, and it's happening like clash of reality. And in this moment, the biggest transformations are happening. And the fears that you had, the biggest one is the fear of death. So the smallest one can even disappear because you gone through, you created for yourself the biggest fear of humanity. You created by yourself.
Wow.
So once you went through this fear and gained benefits, all other fears kind of disappearing. So you understand how deep it can be.
Yes,
And it's
absolutely.
very big process of transformation. So you may not even immediately understand that you already got rid of one of the fears that you have, heights, whatever. But within the time, you can suddenly understand that it happened. You do not fear anything. And the people who are fasting, they are very difficult to scare, and they are very difficult to manipulate as well, because they already undergone and they put themselves in the biggest fear. So they're
Wow.
very difficult to. They are less afraid of something than other people. So not to be manipulated, not to be scared. Fasting is the best. So you
Wow.
are going thanks to fasting as well. And if you are going with some practices, you touch the points that actually you may not even immediately understand, but you will definitely see the transformation. Definitely, it will happen.
Wow, wow, that's amazing. Now, I have another question, very, very important, because this group that I manage is built upon creating a habit, a new habit of fasting once a week. And many people are not used to that, and they have difficulty. They fall off the wagon, and and then it's difficult to get back to this routine of fasting. So I would love to discuss this subject of creating a habit. What does it take? What kind of components do we have in creating a new habit, such as fasting once a week, doing prolonged fast once a year or once in a few months? What are the components of creating a new habit? So, Elena, could you enlighten us on this subject?
Of course, to create a habit, first of all, you really have to sit down and to write down your intentions, because this is the something that really motivates you and keeps you going. If you don't have an intention or strong motivation, if you don't know for yourself, if you cannot explain to yourself why you are doing it, if you are not conscious about this decision to pick up fasting as a habit, if it will become much harder to follow up with your choice. So it's very important, from my part, I would say, to really sit down with yourself and actually write down by hand, because it brings extra patterns. If you write something down on a piece of paper with a hand, write down your intentions, write down your ideal vision, why you want to fast, how you're going to feel when you fast, how it will change your life, how it will change your relationship with others, relationship with yourself, what benefits you're going to get. As much details as possible will give you a stronger motivation to go with your plan, to keep up the routine that you will be creating, keep up the habit. So from my experience, this This is a psychological trick that really works. And you can always go back and read it over again and again. In some moments of weakness, you can always go back to your plan to refresh your memory and say, hey, that's what I was aiming for. That's my intentions. And you remind yourself again and again, that's why I'm doing it. That's why it's good for me. It will bring my life to the next level, to this and this changes. So setting up intentions, writing them out, creating the ideal scene, how you will feel, how you will look, how the relationships will change, help greatly from my experience. That's what I would. But another very good practice is to relate to others who are doing the same practice. That's what you are doing. And I think that's equally important, to have your peers, to have your friends, to have someone who is doing the same thing, so you can support each other, you can motivate each other, you can consult each other, and in the moment of weakness you can always turn to your friends and ask for help. So to create a community with support, mutual understanding, mutual support is also a very important trick, a very important point.
Wow, wow. But yeah, and it probably can relate to fasting, but it can also relate to changing the diet, for example, in general. So, so those principles might be applied for everything, basically, I guess.
Absolutely.
Community.
Yeah.
Community, it's the answer, absolutely. Because you are supported, you are inspired, you are encouraged, you see examples of others. You, even if sometimes you are lazy or you find something that is much more important in this very moment, then you immediately come back because someone telling you something very that you inspired, for example. And since you inspired, you remember, oh, okay, maybe I have to do it as well. So it's all about community and supporting each other. How I started doing it, actually, I created myself for my friends this Ekadashi group. I like to do not weekly, but twice a month on Ekadashi. So I created the group. And since I created, because sometimes I was doing, sometimes not, and my friends were asking me always, can you remind me when it is? Can you remind me? So what I did, I created. And since I created for a few years, and when I was sending to them information, I felt responsibility to do it because I was sending the information.
Yes,
like a kind of, how can I suggest something if I'm not doing it? And because of that, it made my practice regular because I created the community. And it's like it brought me to the point that I'm responsible for what I'm sharing with people.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I can also feel, it makes you accountable. And actually, that was the exact reason why I started this weekly fasting group, because 2 years ago I was just looking for people to fast with, just because I wanted to start this habit. So I was just looking. So then one person joined, another person joined, and then we became a group and it started growing. And now it's kind of a big international movement, So
it's good.
Yeah.
How I started even thinking about fasting, yes, once I heard about it, I said, oh, okay, once upon a time I will try. But then once I met a girl and she was complaining about she couldn't lose her weight. And I started saying, oh, there is such a method you can try. And I started to say to her these things like inspiring her. At the end, I went out of the bar, I remember, and said, oh, I inspired her so much that I'm inspiring myself. So I go do it. I will do it. So I inspired myself by telling to others. What I know that by sharing with others, it becomes yours. The practice becomes yours by sharing. So share with others, and this is good point, how you will be regular.
Yeah, absolutely. That is the power of, for example, having your own YouTube channel and sharing the ideas, not just about fasting, about everything, about every kind of a new habit or some kind of a knowledge that we want to apply in life. Like some time ago, I'm not doing it anymore, but it was maybe 6 years ago, I started my raw food journey, being on raw foods. And almost immediately I started my YouTube channel, and then that's what made me accountable at that time. And actually helped me keep going, keep moving in this direction. Now I'm not doing raw foods anymore, but still, but I just remember this experience that's why I proceeded on the path, you know, so because it makes you
Yeah,
accountable.
when you are sharing, people start asking. And when you start answering, you discover for you more and more, and you are getting involved more and more. This is a
Yeah,
trick.
yes, absolutely, absolutely. Okay, guys, so let's open our microphones at this point. Let's see if we have any, we already got a few questions in the chat, but maybe, guys, you can just unmute yourself and ask your questions, even if you posted them in the chat or if you have something in mind. So let's see if people have any questions in mind.
Hello.
Hey, Revita, hello.
Hello. Hi.
Hi. Hi, Elena. Hi, Svetlana. You know, I also studied psychology, and I'm also interested in the subject, but I noticed, you know, in this community, it's different. It's a different thing, the formal psychology that you study in the West, where you analyze a psychotherapy. And what, Svetlana, you talked about working with the emotions, that it doesn't matter. You don't try to analyze how it started and intellectually, but you said, could you elaborate on that? Also, Elena, you spoke about it, that you work with the emotions, and that's very interesting. Not because I've come across it, and it's different. You can speak for years and years about the problem and analyze it from every perspective possible. Still, you understand it intellectually, you understand the problem, but the emotions are still there. You still haven't resolved them. And I've met a lot of people that work. Well, I've also worked with people that it's from a, and I felt it is more effective from a working with the emotions, releasing the emotions. So could you elaborate on that? Yeah, how exactly it works? How exactly do you release the emotions? You know, trapped traumas and things like that.
Yeah, that's a good question, Elena. So could you start?
Sure. In our practice, it's first of all, it's important to work with the emotion that is happening in the present time. So it's not possible to work with something from the past because it's just a memory. So the emotion has to be fresh, has to be something that triggers you, something that triggers you right now or triggered you recently. So we deal with that from the perspective that how you relate to the issue is the issue. So it's basically about your relation to this issue. It's not about the problem. So, and then when you found a trigger, a recent trigger, the emotional trigger, you have an opportunity to look within yourself and try to go deep within yourself and find out when did you feel such emotion in the past. So that's how you can bring that emotion, the reason for that emotion that is happening now is always in the past. And then the conventional psychology works with problems, so to say, on the horizontal level. So it's about working the problems through the mind. So you discuss a lot. You do not release, you discuss, and you find a rational decision why this or that shouldn't be happening. You try to rewrite it, but you stay within your mind. You don't go out of the mind. To solve the emotion, to solve the problem, you have to have a perspective, not in a horizontal way, but you have to step out of the mind. You have to see your mind You have to see your mind patterns. You have to immerse yourself in that emotion. You have to try to relieve that emotion, to release it again, to look from the perspective of mindfulness, from the fact that we are not our thoughts, we are not the mind. And when you step out of the mind and look at the problem, look at the emotion, it's a different way of dealing with it. That's why it works, because you cannot solve a problem of the mind being within the mind. It's the mind, and that's why it's not working. To discuss it all over again and all over again, it's not gonna help. It's just gonna give you maybe another thought about it, but it's not gonna go to the deeper level. And that's why Svetlana's techniques are also so helpful, because they let you go down, deep down in your subconsciousness, go in your within yourself. So it's different perspective of looking at psychological problems. You know, it's looking from the perspective of mindfulness, from the perspective of stepping out of the thinking mind. And why we call our studies spiritual psychology is because we step out of the mind. We understand we are not the mind, we are not this chatter, we are not the patterns, we're much bigger than that. And from that perspective, from that point of view, that we are spiritual beings here, that we are having this experience, solving these things. But so we look at the mind not as in psychology, not as the end point of everything. So like you are the mind and you have to solve the problem within the mind. These methods don't work, as we know, because people go to psychotherapists for years and years, and they just understand maybe something, but nothing happens. There is no behavioral change, there is no emotional change, there is no emotional discharge. You keep reacting the same because you do not deal with the emotion. You deal with the mind, with the thoughts, with the description of it, basically.
Yes, so beautiful.
Right.
Yes. It's
Yeah,
just like,
Elena spoke. She said almost everything. So I can only add that in the moment when you become an observer of your emotions, like not falling into your emotions, because once you are falling into your emotions, you're not able. It's like kind of trauma. You are not able to deal with it. But when you become an observer and you by yourself can transform. There are some practices that transform your emotions, and whatever the result that you're receiving, it becomes yours. Like you are creating your own reality. There are practices, very nice practices, that you are becoming an observer, and you see what is happening. The questions that are made at the moment, you know the answers. Our subconscious immediately are bringing up what is happening, why it's happening. It's very interesting to see. And of course, it cannot be immediately resolved everything. It's layer by layer, and bringing up what is the most important in this very moment to resolve. And you do it. You transform that emotion. Then you go deeper, each time deeper. And this is very strong techniques that cannot be done like weekly, maybe once in 6 once a month, because mind and your body and your soul needs time for transformation period. It's about something that is happening within you, inside you, and you need to give time. It's not only about mind elaboration. It's like chewing your thoughts. No, it's not about that. It's just giving time to elaborate inside what has happened, how like transformation that happened. It was only about the observer from outside.
Yes,
to know
you need to create
your emotions not being negative.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's
you are working like from outside with your emotions, but from outside. It's very interesting.
Because what conventional psychology is doing, they are trying to solve the problem created by the mind with the mind, but that's not going to work, because the mind created the problem, and the mind is going to solve it. It's a catch-22. You know, you cannot solve it with the mind because you created it with the mind. You have to step out.
It's a vicious circle. Vicious circle. The circle created the problem by the mind, and then you still want to work with the mind.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So the external observer has to be there that will be able to observe the thoughts, the emotions, and then it gives us the key to really do something regarding that.
We have such power inside. Everything is from inside. We can heal ourselves from inside, from everything, really everything.
Yes.
And this is beautiful.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
What you need, everyone needs, it's a correct guide, correct help, like doctor, assistant, psychologist, right. The correct one. Because no one is like about fasting. I wanted to add something. If someone is helping you, like doctor, like psychologist, like any type of guide, if you are healed, it's not about the victory of the doctor. Those people are just helping you. Who is doing the real work? It's you. So it's your own victory. We only can say, wow, it works. So because you managed to heal yourself from whatever psychological problems, physical problems, it's only you. And when you go through day fasting, you gain so much inner respect for your inner strength that this gives you the power to go on because you made it, and it's like inner respect, and it's a victory. And what is happening with the patterns when you are rewriting the pattern of your life during the fasting? So once you managed one thing during fasting, like personal victory that you did one day fasting, for example, this victory that you manage, you are capable, right? It's applied to other spheres of life because your mind, okay, we have to deal with mind in any case, already has this pattern that you can. And this will be applied to other spheres of life. This is beautiful.
Wow, that is amazing. That is amazing. Okay, I would love to, we also had a few questions from Sanjela. And I can see that she's here.
I'd like to say some more things. So shall I say it later or now?
Okay, okay, you can say it now, and then Sanjela, then we will get over to you.
Okay, so I wanted to say that there's something wrong with the formal medicine and formal psychology. I don't know, for some reason, you know, after coming across and meeting all these, you know, this kind of lifestyle people that know all this raw fruitarian lifestyle, raw vegan lifestyle, all this knowledge. I mean, and you know, and medicine, the medical world, you know, is they're so ignorant. And now all this special kind of psychological healing, and not the formal healing where you keep discussing intellectually and rationally, and you know, you're just stuck there. You understand the problem, but you're just stuck there. It's not working. And you know, meeting people like,
no, it's all about being lazy. The majority, unfortunately, are lazy, because what you're speaking about, it's about very important inner work. And people want to take a pill and they believe that it is a miracle. They are ready to pay the psychologist every week, paying a lot of money, and they're saying, oh, I'm paying. So since they are paying, they think that they did everything they could. But really, to do a work, inner work, it takes courage. It takes to look into yourself inside, what is happening. It takes a lot of courage, a lot. So someone prefers normal medicine just because of laziness or the fear to look inside.
But it's ineffective. They do more damage than good.
As we say, we're here like souls. So means that that kind of soul came here to experience this type of life, to experience these emotions. We have to respect this choice. We give alternatives. There are alternatives, and each of us is choosing what experience they want to live. Why to prohibit? They came to live this experience. Let them go. Let them live life.
Okay, maybe they're at a certain level. They're not ready to move to the next level. They're not there. So I don't know. I just,
Yeah.
it's amazing. I'll listen to the recording again. I was trying to write everything you said. It was so beautiful, but I didn't manage to write everything. I'll just go over, all these insights and all this beautiful knowledge. I mean, you just can't learn it anywhere else. It's, I mean, all these, the truth. Why isn't it available for everyone?
It is available for who wants to find it.
Yes, yes. Okay, guys, let's let other
Thank you
guys.
very much,
Yeah.
Elena and Svetlana.
Thank you for your question. Thank you.
Okay, Sanjela, so you posted few questions in the chat, so maybe you
Yes.
could unmute yourself and just ask directly.
Yeah, definitely. Hello. I want to ask, thank you so much for sharing this knowledge. I can resonate to everything you're sharing. I want to ask, when one is not fasting, do you recommend fruits diet or raw vegetables? And what are your thoughts on cooked food? Is that okay? Yeah.
It's a very individual thing, we are not recommending any particular specific lifestyle, because every person is so different. Someone is ready to go raw, someone is ready for juicing, to do these things. You have to understand, it's not a mental decision. Okay, tomorrow I'm going to eat only raw food. You have to be, your mind has to be expanded, so to say. Your consciousness has to be on a higher level in order to follow such diets and in order to do juicing and not ruin your health. Because if you're not spiritually ready for this, you will damage your health. So you cannot prescribe a particular diet to everyone, because it really differs per person. For someone, like Ayurveda is a very good option. Some people would be good with cooked foods because they need the nourishment for the body. It also depends on the seasons largely, but primarily because there is a huge trend, for people to go raw, to go vegan, to do juicing. But a lot of people, they don't realize that these are practices for someone who is on a actually higher level of consciousness, and only then you will not ruin your health. Only then you will be able to go through this, because your body starts functioning differently when your mind is expanded, when when you do some inner work and all these things, and then you naturally go to these styles of eating. You just stop eating cooked food because it doesn't nourish your body. But if you go out of your mind decision, like, okay, it's a trend, I'm gonna do raw food and I'm gonna be skinny and I'm gonna have a beautiful skin. If it's your decision from your head, you might ruin your health very easily. So it has to go step by step. And actually, fasting is a miracle method to come back to your original state, to your natural state, where you can listen to yourself, listen to your body, and reintroduce the foods from the clean state of mind, so to say. And when you will be reintroducing foods, you will see how you react to them. After fasting, it's much easier to see and to pick your style of diet, which is specifically for you, meant for you at this period of your life. And it can always change. So there is nothing which is not changing. Life is a process of change. So is diet, actually, and everything else.
You know, it's very
Enlightened.
interesting. It's very interesting to notice how people, while they are fasting, like today, a guy on day 8 was saying, "Oh, I don't drink alcohol, but I would drink all the beers that I see now in the fridge." And so you have all these desires because it's not your body, it's your mind. It's so tricky. So very often we are eating not because we are hungry, not because we want them, not because your body needs that, but just because you see, just because someone is suggesting you, just so you're not hearing your body. And once they break the fast, what is happening? We are laughing and we say, okay, tomorrow you will drink your beer. While they are exiting, what they are doing, they're drinking water and maximum compote. They don't want anything because finally they start hearing their bodies, because their bodies are in such a pure state that you start hearing it. And while you are fasting, you're giving the possibility to finally hear. And you heard like once your body, another time, third time, and you start to be in contact with yourself and choose for yourself what is good for you. This is beauty of fasting. It's a kind of freedom of choice. You are not kind of manipulated by external world. You don't want nothing but what your body needs right now. This is a beauty. No one can tell you what you have to eat, absolutely. It's only up to your natural desires.
Wow. Mhm.
Yeah,
Your inner guide will tell you that, and fasting is the best method that I've discovered that evokes actually your inner guide. As far as the foods are concerned, as far as relationships are concerned, it's just something from within comes to the forefront when you fast, and then you can just trust this intuition and find the best diet for yourself. And from my experience, sugar cravings disappear, coffee cravings disappear. It's all that our mind tells us to eat, but our natural state is pure. You know, we need water, we need basic things, and not more than that at the end of the day.
What is happening as well when you are fasting, you decide to fast, right? No one pushed you to fast. So what is happening within fasting? It's that it was your freedom of choice to eat or not to eat. So what is happening when you already have
Okay,
kind of pattern that is already created? You hear me?
No,
So it's a
Svetlana,
pattern.
we couldn't hear you for about half a minute or something like that. So if you could repeat what you have just said, that would be great.
While you are fasting, you decide if to eat or not to eat. And by this, you create to your mind the pattern that it's your freedom of choice to eat or not to eat. And this is another pattern that you have created to your mind. And it doesn't belong only to fasting or to food. It is a pattern that your mind has created, freedom of choice. And what is happening in the normal life after fasting, that this freedom of choice become kind of yours, your attitude to life, that it is you that is choosing. And like this, whatever information is coming into your kind of field, you choose which information will come, to whom to believe. And with the freedom of choice, you are difficult to manipulate, you are difficult to scary. And actually what is happening, that your decisions, next decisions, each decision, it's made already from freedom of choice. And if these decisions are made from freedom of choice, then your destiny is changed, your life is changing. So it's a kind of correlation. It's very beautiful. So and you decide for yourself, you're responsible. This is beauty of it. Yeah.
Wow.
New pattern that is created as well.
Wow. Sanchela, do you have any more questions?
yeah, I was saying that actually I've been my body is getting drawn to more fasting and fasting, but then I'm also losing a lot of weight, and so I thought that I'm happy to fast and I've also been on fruits and like smoothie, and then the body wants to only have juice, so I'm only having juice. But then sometimes I also have to want to have a little break to have a little bit of vegetables, like steamed vegetables. But then it's like the feeling, if I eat, will I get sick? There is also that feeling. So I'm not very sure how to approach or address it. And initially I thought maybe I'll see an Ayurvedic doctor to know what type of body it is and what's the best thing to do. But things are a bit on hold at the moment. I'm just doing the juicing and just waiting how to get things clarified. And
if you want to know the opinion of the Dr. Filanov, I can tell you the opinion of Dr. Filanov about that. Then, of course, it's not the only truth in this life. In any case, he is very against the juice fasting or drinking more than one juice per day. Because what he's saying that when you're eating fruits, the juice of the fruits, while you're, for example, chewing apple, for example, in the mouth, part of juice remains in the mouth. Then you are starting to swallow, and it goes to each organ where it has to go. It arrives the certain amount of juice. So it's very soft when you are eating a fruit. When you are drinking directly only juice without fibers, it goes directly to pancreas, so it hurts pancreas. What is doctor suggesting? It's to drink not more than one juice per day. I know that there are a lot of fastings with the juices. People are healing with the juices. I'm not a doctor. I have no idea what is right, what is not right. I cannot be against or pro. So I'm just following my body, and my body, as for now, didn't ask me for only for juices. So, but doctor, when we are doing the program offline, online, he never ever agree people to drink juices. Most over after exit. When you are exiting, he's asking first of all water, then compote, then boiled food for at least 3 days. Otherwise, he's saying that you will ruin your pancreas. I'm telling the words of doctor. I'm not a doctor, so I'm just sharing with you his opinion.
Thank you so much. Sanjela, do you have any more thoughts or questions or comments?
I was asking about, about the boiled vegetables and things like that. How can I introduce it without having the fear of it might make me bloated or things like that, because that's how I was feeling before.
What kind of fear you have about that?
Fear is because I used to when I was eating normal food before, then after a while I started to feel bloated, gas, and then that's why I thought maybe I'm going to switch to fasting because that will heal the body. So I want to know how to incorporate the fasting and also introduce the maybe boiled vegetables as well.
But how long are your fasting periods? Can you tell us more about the dynamics of your fasting?
Well, I started in February. I was on smoothie, and then around 21st of Feb, then I started to go on fruits, just because so that I could have elimination of the body and clean it, and this is till now.
So you started actually. It's well, like you mean fasting. In my opinion, fasting is just my opinion. What we consider fasting is when you do not eat at all, or when you do not, drink. So fasting is what we consider when you do not consume foods. That's why I'm asking. So you were actually on smoothies this whole time, and then you started to drinking only juices. Is that correct?
No, I went to fruits, and now for the last 3 days I've been juicing.
This is not
You've been
fasting,
juicing.
as Elena said. It's just the diet.
Oh yeah,
the
it's not
different type of diet.
fasting, it's diet, but I plan to fast a few days, maybe starting from Sunday, Monday and Tuesday. I plan to do dry fasting. In between, I've also fasted, where I was fasting like 1 or 2 days dry fasting last week and week before.
So what I can say to you right
And
now.
so you lost a lot of
Okay, I mean, what I can say to you right now that this is not the suggestions of the doctor how to feed yourself. You can have another opinion. There are doctors or specialists who will suggest you this type of diet. Someone is calling that a kind of conditional fasting, even if it is not fasting. Me personally, I cannot say what is right, what is wrong. What I can suggest you from our side, since we are here, if you want to try method of Dr. Filonov of preparation to cleansing of the liver and the intestine, fasting, refeeding by the method of Dr. Filonov, we have a program in May that starts on 9th of May. It will last 21 days, where you can see and find all the information of the method of Dr. Filonov. So this can be an opportunity to learn something different, to try for your body and to see if this suits you. If with this you can feel yourself better, or how you feel, just to understand the difference and then to choose for yourself what suits you most.
Mm-hmm. Svetlana, I just want to ask little questions and a question, and then Sanjela might continue. Is this program suitable for vegans? I'm not talking about raw vegans, but just
absolutely,
vegans.
Absolutely. We are people are exiting with the boiled vegetables, but still they are vegetables. If you are raw, you may, we are not permitting people, like by our methods, like if you are following the method Dr. Filonov, to eat raw food up to day 3. Only after day 3 of exit, you can insert in your diet some raw foods. So this you have to understand, but still it's vegan, still it's vegetarian. It's not raw, kind of, but it's vegetarian and vegan.
But will I have a consultation with him where he'd be able to know the intestine and liver and advice?
Sometimes I don't understand if I'm still online.
Yeah, you are.
You are. Yes.
Did you hear my question? Hi.
Svetlana, did you hear the last question of Sanjela?
Yeah.
Want me to repeat?
No, but it looks like she got disconnected.
Yeah, go on.
Svetlana?
Yes.
Can you repeat the question, please?
I was saying with the doctor, would he do a consultation to know what's going on in terms of the liver and the intestine, or do we just simply go into the direct fast and things like that? How does it work?
If you want a private consultation, I can organize it for you. Otherwise, you go with a program created by him and supported by him and supervised by him, because if we don't know the answers, we are always asking the doctor.
I think I'd like to have a consultation with him, and then can go with the, with the fasting.
Just ask.
At least you'll have an
ask
idea.
Eric for my number.
Yeah, okay.
Absolutely.
At
ask
least
Eric
have an idea where I'm at.
And we will get in.
Yeah, and then he can give me some.
He will tell you what he thinks in very direct way. Yeah.
Exactly. Then that way it would be it would be a good idea to go
It
to
works.
that.
Yes, Angela. So you can either send me a message to get the
Okay,
numbers, or
perfect.
but you will also find all the details of
All right.
all the contact details below the video. So
Okay, thank
yeah.
you. Yeah, perfect.
Mhm. Okay, guys, that we have also a few questions that we got on WhatsApp, but maybe some other guys from here have any more questions. Do you have any more questions? Okay, so I would love to ask this question. For example, when people fast, they usually get different repressed thoughts and repressed emotions might appear, different obsessions, different what's called demons. Now, how can a person deal with those things if they are alone, not within the framework of the retreat, where they have you, for example, nearby? Like if a person is fasting at home, and if they are not even familiar with meditations and different mind techniques, what can they do?
A very good technique is called free form writing. It's when you take a piece of paper, you take a pen, and you just start writing down everything what you are feeling this moment. And you don't have to care about a story or how it looks or the logic of it. You just write down everything what is in your head, simply to get rid of it. So you just keep writing, you keep writing until this energy is all on paper. And then you can even light a candle while doing this, because the candle, the light, will absorb this negative energy that will come up with that writing process. It's actually a very powerful energetic practice. So, and then you can write for like 15-20 minutes. Doesn't matter how you write, you just get it out of your system. It's like a self-supporting practice that you can do. You don't need anyone else. You just need a time alone without interruptions. You just have to be alone, and you just write and write and write your disturbances. Give it to the paper. And then as a ritual, you can burn this paper or shred it. So without reading it, it's very important not to read what you've written. It's very, very important. You just, when you're done, when the energy is done, when it's gone, you will feel it. You will stop writing. You will just take this piece of paper and you burn it. This practice is very, very powerful. It really helps you to release that negative energy, because that's all about it. That's all about the energy that is accumulated. It has to be gotten out of your system. And that's one of the greatest way to do it when you are alone, when you cannot talk to a psychologist or even a friend, or it's like a self-help technique that really, really helps. Or you can use some mindfulness techniques as well. You just count your breathings from 1 to 10. You sit down and you just try to concentrate only on your breath and just count them from 1 to 10, and then again and again and again. That also helps to calm down your mind. But free form writing is a very, very powerful tool, I would say, in that case, because you work with yourself. You don't need anybody else in that case.
Mm-hmm. So
it's beautiful, absolutely. And what I can add, yeah, free writing forms, it's perfect. And what I can say, like in addition to that, it's energy. Whatever kind emotion you're feeling, it's energy. Use it. Be artistic. Create, I don't know, poems, paint something, do something like in artistic way. And you can find out that you have like maybe talent that was asleep since you were a child. Remember what you liked to do and just use this energy to create, even if it is negative, just release it in this way. I like to use the energy. So
amazing.
It's a very nice opportunity.
Painting is a very good technique as well. You just start putting all of your patterns into the images with painting, and just drawing, and without thinking, just releasing and releasing and releasing. So that's the way to deal with that. Get rid of that energy, and that's the way to go.
Okay.
Use whatever is happening. Use.
Yeah, and tell me, so this writing system. So I just want to make clear I got it right, because then other people might have the same question. For example, a person has particular fears. I'm just giving an example. For example, that there might be a big cockroach, and this cockroach might come to him at night and kill him. Just an idea, just a crazy idea. So that's basically what a person has to write. Like, there is this big cockroach and he kills me, and so that basically that's the idea. Yeah, you just
It's absolutely
throw-
true, and it works. Yes, you just write everything, describe it in detail, go through it, relive it, write everything in detail. When you do that, you will realize that it's not a real thing. It's something which is in your head, and you express it on paper, and you burn it as a ritual. You burn it. You really burn it out, and then you feel the space. You will feel the space that is around yourself, that is within your head, that is created within your head, because all the fears are mental projections. They are not real. All the fears, it's something that we have in our head as thoughts. Because when situation comes, when the cockroach gets out at night, you will know what to do. You will do it automatically without thinking. So basically, it's only your fear. It's a story in your head. And if you get rid of this story by writing, you don't pay attention to how you write. You write everything. It can be half phrases, small phrases. You can curse, you can do whatever. You just have to write everything what comes to your mind. That's the technique.
Or you can create a fairy tale out of it. It can be very, very artistic way. I'm with artistic way, sorry to come in. But you can create something new, special.
So this way you kind of transform the energy. You take this negative
You
bunch of energy.
transform, and then you create the ending of the fairy tale as you wish.
Good idea. Good idea. Now tell me, girls, now I also announced another point that we are going to discuss, is that the point of moods, not necessarily the thoughts, but just moods. For example, a person just gets depressed or gets angry, different moods. Now, what would be the psychological tools for dealing with moods, especially in the fasting state? Now, Svetlana, maybe we can start with you this time.
I don't know if it's gonna
Sometimes
work.
I'm losing you.
Yeah, Svetlana?
I'm losing you sometimes.
Yes. So what I said is that another point that I told that we would mention is the point of moods, different moods, such as depression, anger, different things that a person in a fasting state finds themselves in.
First of all, you have to understand why it's happening. And everything depends on liver. Your mood depends on liver. So, and when the liver is cleansing, your mood is getting worse, but it's a benefit. If you understand that in this very moment, when you are anxious, when you are angry, when you want to cry, you have to be thankful for your body and for your liver that it's cleaning. It's cleansing, it's going through the process that afterwards will make you feel better. You will be flying after. So when you are understanding the process, that this is the cleansing process, you love it, kind of love it, but you understand it. You are more aware of it. And I can suggest like physical activity that can bring you adrenaline into your body and transform this energy in something positive. Because after doing like yoga, when you're starting to do breathing exercises with the yoga, we will definitely insert some yoga practices in our program. We just started with the program, so and with the work, we didn't manage to do that, but we will do. So when you are doing it, after 1 hour, even if you are fasting of the breathing exercise and yoga, you are releasing. You are releasing the blockages that are creating this anxious. You're releasing the aggressiveness. You're releasing the tensions, because your body, it depends as well on the blockages in the body. You're all tensed. So when you are releasing it, everything, and you understand that with awareness what is happening with you, you live emotions differently. And what I would suggest, it's not to hide them. It's totally normal to be, to cry, to be angry. It's totally normal. So people around you have to understand that. You have to explain to them what is happening with you. And like this, you will not feel guilty. You will not feel yourself not normal. Just explain and be happy that this is happening, and live it, live this emotion. Only by living, we are releasing. If we are hiding, if we are feeling guilty, we are creating more traumas. Live it, release it.
Okay, okay. So, Elena, do you have anything to add in terms of moods?
Well, that's a great point Svetlana is making. It's again, it comes down to being aware of what is going on. You have to be aware of the physical processes, why it's happening, and of the emotional processes. When you are aware, when you know why it's happening, when you're conscious while it's happening, it helps a great deal to go through these things. And releasing is a powerful thing, of course. You have to really give yourself this permission to not hold it and to release it, because that's your personal cleansing process, and you just have to welcome it, because that's why you are doing it. You are getting rid of it. You're getting rid of the problems on the physical level and on the psychological level. That's the healing. That's how it goes. It goes through aggravation. So it brings up everything in order to be seen, to be acknowledged, and to cleanse.
Okay, okay, okay. So we are going to wrap it up. We are going to finish quite soon. We still have few questions here that we got on WhatsApp, and after that we will talk a little bit about the upcoming online program that you are going to lead with Dr. Filonov. Yeah. So let's just do it really fast. So a person is asking, in what ways it is recommended to integrate dry fasting into life?
In what age?
No, in what ways? In what ways? I don't know
In what ways?
Yeah, in what ways? Yeah.
Just put an intention. What do you mean in what ways?
Yeah, actually it's difficult to understand the intention, the idea of a person. So I will just skip it. I will go to the next one. How to remain committed and disciplined and capable with fasting during demanding work schedules, and if subsequently required extended periods of time in front of laptop. So basically, if you have intensive work schedule, and if you have to spend many hours during the day in front of the computer, how to stay dedicated and how to stay disciplined in terms of fasting.
Intention is everything. And then if you are distracted by work, it's even easier to go through.
Yes, you have to realize actually it's a good thing. If you have work to do, if your schedule is very busy, it works to your advantage when you're going to fast on those days. That's actually a benefit. And then the second point is, again, you try to concentrate on one thing you are doing right now, and that would be your job, your task at hand. So you concentrate on that task, and then having in mind that this will help me fulfilling this task fully, putting my attention on that task of job, of computer, sitting, doing your work. This will actually help you to go through the fasting day. So in my practice, I actually combine very busy days with the dry fasting days, and it's amazing because the mind is much more clear, because the mind is clear. The energy is going directly to the task without going to digestion or anything. So when I fast and I do demanding tasks, I perform actually much better. But it takes the understanding. So you have to understand, you have to explain to yourself that this is my advantage. It's going to be to my advantage. I'm going to be doing my job. I'm going to be concentrating on my job, and I'm going to be going through this day much faster than when I would be just sitting on the couch and, you know, looking at the fridge. That's the worst case scenario in this case.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And the benefits, if you think about the benefits that you are gaining afterwards, this pushes you to go on. And if you will add some gifts, like if I go through fasting today, tomorrow I will permit to myself this, like a kind of gift, you know. This can be an idea.
Yes, very important. You have to celebrate small achievements. That also creates a habit. When you want to create a habit, you don't start with a huge fasting periods. You just fast for 24 hours, maybe once in 2 weeks, and then reward yourself, praise yourself, you did it, and then gradually you build it up. Because if you go for the high long-term achievements, then you might not sustain it. Just celebrate the small steps you make, and that will get you much further.
Very good, very good. So our next question is how stress affects the subconscious willingness to fast. Whatever you understand, like if you understand this question, I will repeat it again. How does stress affect the subconscious willingness to fast?
I can answer you. Subconscious willingness to fast. Doctor is always saying that we cannot support 2 stresses at a time. If you are depressed or if you are stressed, go into fasting. Like this, body will suffer from fasting and you will forget about your depression or stress because body cannot support 2 stresses. Wow. So subconsciously, it can lead you to the desire to fast, just to skip the stress that will be absolutely not primary stress, because the primary will be fasting.
Wow.
Like to survive, not to die. This will be
so
the first, the primary basic instinct. That's why you will skip other stresses.
That is super inspiring. Elena, do you have to add anything?
That's great. It's just using the stress to your advantage. That's such a great mind trick. It's just you just completely in line with your stress. You say, okay, I welcome you because you will give me much more opportunity to work on myself. That's how you can approach. You welcome it. You do not resist it. You do not blame the stress. You fully accept it as a tool to actually become better, work on yourself. So use it to your advantage. It's an amazing tool.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, and then we have another one unrelated to fasting, but nevertheless, how we can measure the hydration levels. So they say, what are the measurements of hydration levels other than identifying urine color and thirst intensity? So other than urine color and thirst, what other measurements are of the hydration level?
Well, in addition to the color of urine, you have to go to the bathroom at least 8 times a day. So you can measure it like that. You know, if you go like less than 5 times, then you're definitely dehydrated. You can also take your fingers and pinch your skin. And if the skin goes back to its point quickly, then it's hydrated. But if the skin is dry and it takes time for the skin, you can pinch your skin, just pinch your arm, pinch your hand on the upper part. You just pinch your skin and you see how far it goes down. If you pinch it and it goes down gradually, then you're dehydrated. But if you pinch your skin and it comes to its natural state quickly, then there is enough hydration.
But can I ask why a person have to think about it? I mean, there is no reason to create more stress for yourself. So the doctor is always saying that to exit the fast, you have to have 2 reasons. your pulse is 120 in a laying position for several hours, not like you are walking and your pulse it's 120. In a laying position for a while, 120, and you are not feeling good. So these are two reasons why you have to exit the fast. But he was never, ever in these years speaking about dehydration. It's normal that you are losing liquids from inside your body, like even all the organs are surrounded by pathological liquids. So it's good if you are losing, it's very good because you will be renewed. So you don't have to think how much I'm dehydrated. Don't worry. You will recover absolutely. But what you are losing right now while you are fasting, it's pathological water, pathological liquids. So it's okay to be dehydrated. No worries about that, because like these people will be creating more stress for themselves, useless stress.
Yeah, actually, I think the person who asked it meant how we can check our hydration levels in daily life, not necessarily in relation to fasting. So
Okay,
I think that's what they meant. Yeah. Okay, and then someone is asking more. So we are pretty much finished with our questions for today. Now we are going to talk about upcoming programs, and then there was a person who asked, any hope of an in-person seminar with Dr. Filonov sooner than the suggested times of October, November, maybe in July, August? So
you're speaking about offline retreats.
Yes, that's what I understand from what the person just face to face, like regular retreats. Do you know anything about the plan?
Doctor usually is in Siberia from May up to October. They are starting the retreat offline in Siberia already 19th of April. We finish here 17th because there are two groups, 17th, and then 19th, they're already starting in Siberia. So since 19th of April up to the end of September, beginning of October, they will be in Siberia. And before the situation in this world, we were organizing international groups that were as well in August, in July, from time to time. But now I don't know how foreign people can come to Russia, how can they obtain visa. I'm not pretty sure. And I'm not sure that we will be organizing. So considering this situation, the person either can come by himself to Altai and see the doctor working in his structure. No groups will be organized, only by himself. If not, he has to wait up to October, that we will be back here in Montenegro in October.
Okay, very good. And now please tell us about your upcoming online program. Exactly what it is going to be, and the framework, what are the requirements, and stuff like that.
So it will be 21 days of our online program. And so it's evolving, the program is evolving, but still in this very moment, we will have two types of groups united together, because afterwards we want to separate them actually. It will be a group for beginners that will be having like 2 days of preparation to program. What it means that you have maybe to buy something, to be ready, to chill, to understand what's going on, what's happening, not just start it and you start it, even to like adapt yourself to the situation. Then we will have 4 days of preparation of your body to have a very good and easygoing cleansing of liver. After that, because this is very important, this is for group for beginners or even people who already fasted for a long time, but they want to know the method of Dr. Filonov, how it's going, the information, because we are providing a lot of different kind of information on, by the way, like in this process of program. Then after liver cleansing, we're going on water fasting as well, preparing our body for better going through dry fasting. As we're speaking about beginners, their bodies, we don't know how are they, so we have to prepare them as much as we can with the help of sorbents, with the help of different types of as well meals. So after 2 days of water fasting, we go with the recovery phase, where we teach how Dr. Filanov is suggesting to exit. Very often we hear the question how to exit, and that people by themselves do not know how, even if they know, they do not do. So once you paid money, once you committed yourself to a program, you do it. This thing, you know, you
have a
this
support group. You have your family, like your fasting family. You have a support group. That's an important thing.
As well, of course. And so once you committed yourself to the program, you stick to it. And then after recovery, and we do the recovery twice. What does that mean? That doing it twice for the beginners, you get a new habit as well, how to exit correctly. And then after recovery, so we go to dry fasting up to 3 days. Usually our participants are doing 3 days of dry fasting. And then we have again a recovery process. So 21 days for first, like beginners group, we call it like this. But 3 days of dry fasting is as well kind of advanced. We, from the beginners, we bring you to a first level of advance. Then we have a parallel group that is going together, that is doing a cascade fasting. It's as well 2 days of preparation. Then you do 5 days of dry fasting as well, with the people, with the kind of community that we have created. And then as well, the information is coming. Then you have a recovery plan. Then you have again 5 days of dry fasting, because you are committed, you are in the group, you are supporting each other. Then again, recovery plan. And like this, you are like committed to the group. You maybe it's not your first time, because now in our group we have people who already fasted with us, even offline, but they know how to fast, they know how to exit, but they want the company. They want to be followed, even if they know everything, just they want to be with us. So it's a family style as well. So these are two groups that will be going parallel all together, doing each of them what they want to do. We do not force anyone. Of course, if you have never done before something with Dr. Filanov, we would suggest you to start with the beginners, but not because you haven't fasted before maybe, but to understand the process, how it has to be done regularly. And then when you already know how to do it, you can do it by yourself, even cascade fasting. You will get all the information, necessary information that will help you to do your practice that will bring you benefits, you know, that will not damage you. You will be aware of what you're doing. The awareness, it's the key, really. When you know what is happening, what instruments to use, what is better, and then you can suggest to others. And what I was saying, by sharing with others as well, you know, you learn even better. And you make it your experience. By sharing with others, you make it your experience, and it becomes your style of life. So these are two groups that we are doing as well this time together, but maybe after we will divide the groups.
Wow. Elena, do you have to add anything?
Yes, I think it's very important what Svetlana is saying. It's such a tremendous help when you have a program, when you have a protocol, which is developed by a medical doctor who has 30 years experience working with patients, with people face to face. So he's been through so many patients, so many illnesses, so many cases, that he developed a sophisticated protocol that is presented in the program of how to cleanse the body, how to prepare for fasting, how to exit the fasting. Once you master such protocol, you become confident in your fasting practices. So you can implement the fasting practices with confidence that it will not ruin your health, because doing fasting without a protocol, without, you know, just here and there, okay, I'll eat fruits, I'll drink juices, then I don't drink juices, like that type of fasting, it can really ruin your health, really. And doctor has many cases of people who did such practices without following any strategy, without consulting professionals. Then they come to the doctor with a lot of problems, and he actually gives them this sophisticated, thought through protocol of fasting, which he developed for 30 years. And it's a gradual process. It's never 5 days or anything. It's 21 days. You prepare, you cleanse your body, you do it gradually, step by step, then you learn how to exit. And when you know that, then you can do it for yourself with confidence through the rest of your life.
Yeah,
So
otherwise you go telling people that dry fasting is not working or it's damaging your health because you do not have knowledge, the correct knowledge.
Right, right.
Doctor tells a lot about there are many lectures of the doctor included in the program where he describes a lot of things, a lot of issues. He describes the types of fasting. He really defines what fasting is, because people call fasting being on juices, being on smoothies, which is not technically, it's just eating actually. So the doctor explains a lot of things and gives a lot of supporting techniques, how to support yourself, support your body, self-support while fasting, massage, self-massage techniques, and so on, which you cannot find anywhere else. It's expertise of 30 years in one program.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, guys, so you will find all the contact details of Svetlana and Elena below this video. So do not hesitate to contact them. And so again, what are the dates of this program? When does it start?
It's from 9th of May up to 29th of May.
Mm-hmm. And before starting this program, does the person need to change their diets or anything in their lifestyle?
We
Like
do it gradually within the program. That's why we have 2 days of a preliminary phase to the program, where the person can buy stuff that he may need or the tools that he may need within the program. We do not, we make it really very simple, and we do not change immediately everything. Like, person is continuing to live its own life, continuing to work, but still acquiring new knowledge and new habits, and this is cool. No, we do not require anything because we are not going into long dry fasting. So we are doing it gradually. That's why it's okay just to learn with us within the program.
Yeah, okay, really cool, really cool. Okay, Svetlana, Elena, thank you so much. It was a fascinating webinar, lots of knowledge, lots of inspiration, and I actually look forward to inviting you again to be with us and to talk maybe about other subjects. So we will definitely keep in touch.
We will be happy to be with you. You are inspiring us a lot, and as we always say, by sharing, it becomes our knowledge.
Absolutely, absolutely. So thank you so much. And guys, thank you very much for coming. And yeah.
Thank you, everyone. So
Thank you, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.